There's a very interesting story in the lore of the native people, not only among the Mi'kmaq, but many other of the people. And in that lore, there are these giants. They call them the Cookwesk, ravenous, devouring giants who appear and destroy communities, men, women, and children. Now, I have no idea what was in the psychology of those storytellers who invented those ravenous giants, but I kind of feel it's a prophetic, because we are living in the age of the ravenous giants. They have come.
Everybody needs to wake up! 40% of the world's wealth is controlled by 1% of the world's population.
I think we need to look at the way that our electoral system is putting people into power, because it's not us putting them into power all the time. And often it's 40% or 20% of the population that's voting for the people who are making 100% of the decisions.
It was acknowledged that you can't take the Cookwesk, the ravenous giant, on head to head. You can't defeat them by might, but they said you can trick them. They can be tricked. And I think we need to consider the ways that they might be tricked. One of the ways is to work together, because that system thrives when people are separated, divided, feeling alone. Coming together is the first trick, and that's what we're doing here today.
The Stephen Harper government was going to spend, I believe they said $28 million commemorating the War of 1812. Canada wasn't even existing at the time, but nonetheless $28 million. At the same time, I believe it was yesterday, the Canadian Environment Network has had the funding totally cut as of yesterday, and it's been funded for 34 years.
Stop believing the lies. I mean, simply get your information from somewhere that is not managed by the Cookwesk.
When it comes to democracy, one small vote we have is our dollar, and so if we can support each other every way we can, like I will shoot me dead if I ever walk in a Walmart. I will never, ever go into that store.
In the last 25 years, we haven't seen any significant investment in social housing in this province.
And make sure that we still own our own land base, and that our land doesn't get sold off to people that are never going to farm it.
We can make a difference. Our votes, our demonstrations, our letters to the editor, our calls to our MLA and MPs.
It's about who wants to be a human being and who wants to control human beings.
We need to make sure our money is actually in a cooperative bank that we have ownership of.
And unless we have something like proportional representation, many of us will never, ever, ever have our voices heard. That's crazy.
Hi, my name is Craig Curry, and I'm here so I can learn a bit more, so maybe I can think of something later on to change myself.
I'm here to see the young and old come together to make change together.
And I'm really increasingly concerned that most of us are losing control over what's going on environmentally or with business or with land.
I came to the Occupy movement as a concerned citizen. I study labor migration and issues of the state. Time and time again, I hear the same stories of exploitation and the negative impacts that it has on quality of life, land use issues, relationships between people within communities and in regions. And, I had always kind of felt that it was really going to be hard to find a place to start making a difference. I knew that I wanted to, but I thought that the problems were so big that I just, I wasn't sure where to start.
I'm a member of the Canadian Union of Postal Workers, and we just went through a lockout where we showed up for work in June and our boss told us we weren't needed. Well, a month after, they found out that they made record profits of over $400 million. We're legislated back to work by the Harper government, not even given a chance to collectively bargain for our own workers' rights.
The amount of poverty in this country has increased in the last 15-20 years. So it's worse today than it was in the 60s. So we haven't progressed, we regressed.
I feel like I've been naive for many, many years. I should have been able to see this coming a long time ago. But I'm very encouraged that so many people today are beginning to see what's going on behind the scenes. And what's going on behind the scenes is the management of mind and the management of resources for the benefit of the 1%. So let's be tricky. You know, there are all kinds of ways to trick the giants. We could just wait till they fall under their own weight, which will happen. But there's too many people will suffer in the meantime. Let's encourage it along.
I'm probably going to cry when I talk about this. I think that the only way we're ever going to solve a lot of the problems that are happening right now is if we realize that they are global issues. And that, you know, in a lot of ways, the wealth of a country like Canada is built off the backs of the poor in other places. You know, the fact that people are getting paid less wages than they could eat, you know, they can't even afford to eat on the wages that they are being paid for the products that I use here, you know, and that really bothers me. So what's so, I guess, heartening about the movement internationally is that it's, you know, in my lifetime, the first time that we've all come together, you know, internationally and said this isn't good enough. And it's an earnest start again, but hey, there's always tomorrow to make, you know, another step.
Wake up and be conscious.